back to it.
Round
Looks like
two.
same lineup.
Fight.
Round 2, fight.
Wasn't that a Mortal Kombat thing? The round 2 thing? Wasn't that?
Yeah, that's Mortal
Fatality. Okay, well, that's in theaters and stuff. So, like,
Sub-Zero wins.
saw the
You really
trailer
gotta
or
get,
whatever where he turned
You
the
really
blood
got to
into a
get the
knife.
Aspirate voice going, for sure. Yeah. Okay. So, PEED2 once again coming in with a 4DD line. Haragumo taking the place of one of the cruisers. Gearing Shimakaze Z52. Backed up by Nevsky, Des Moines, Moskva, Montana, Yamato.
What is this? A double Montana? It's almost like I saw that a few minutes ago. Joined by a Des Moines, 2 Moskvas, a Nevsky, and triple DD. And just like I said a few minutes ago, 3 DDs versus 4 DDs. I don't know about that, Tim.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how PEED2 utilizes the Haragumo, because again, like we were saying before the disconnect, the Haragumo functions for most, all intents and purposes, sort of like a light cruiser, like a DPM cruiser, like a mini Wooster almost. So, looks like the Z52 is going to be he's going to be PEED2's candidate for the staring contest at B. He's going to be contested by, well, at the very least, a daring. Have you noticed that all three of the PNDDs are going to either B or A? So it looks like C is going to be the sole property of a Moskva, a Des Moines, and a Montana. That's interesting. So they're not putting a DD into C, as PEED2 is.
Other thing that really strikes me is that the Princess's Nigerian are charging the Marceau down the middle, which means he's extremely likely to get spotted by meaty bites in the Z52 and potentially take a whole bunch of, shots. But at the same time, by ramming that Marceau forward, maybe they're trying desperately to get like a spot on the Nevsky or the Yamato or something for some crazy broadside action.
Yep.
Because Piezoelectric, I mean, he can't turn left. He's just going to beach, which means he's got to go closer and eat more shots. I don't know. Maybe this works out for him. They do have a Moskva radar, though, so they might be able to really push into meaty bites for a while.
Yeah, meaty bites getting just bitten all over here by at least 5 ships, maybe 6, all taking shots at him. He may actually go down here if the Moskva radar lasts long enough. He's doing a good job of speed juking and utilizing it, but he is down to 600, 4,000, 3,600. Oh, 22, 900 HP. They could just get him with blind fire at this point. Oh my lord. He's alive. He's alive. The Marceau in exchange Marceau is now down 18,000 HP. Wow, Meaty Bites lives, which means he continues to contest that cap. The Marceau now down a huge amount of HP. That was pretty spicy. Exciting way to start this match off.
Absolutely. So definitely a whole bunch of meaty bites being ripped right out of that dude's ship. I see. No, there's just... Okay, they're plugging away at the clouds, and he's not even in the clouds, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
Well, that is interesting, because right now Meaty Bites has got probably a 2, maybe even 3-minute hydro that is going to absolutely secure Bravo. It is done. And they just traded 2/3 of a Marceau to get nothing. They got a lot of damage on a Z52, but really, if he's going to play safe, they're not going to get more damage into him, so they're going to trade B, and he's just going to bail.
Right. They didn't get what they needed, which was to keep the Z out of B so that he couldn't cap it. Looks like the Daring is going to actually go ahead and contest B, but at the same time, Meaty Bites very wisely getting the F out of there as the destroyers around A just sort of start trading volleys of torpedoes. A pair of Shimikazes trying to land something spicy on one another. I like that the Meaty Bites went, okay, I did my job. I died for your sins, except I didn't die, so now I'm out. And now the Moskva of Iceman has the opportunity to try and counter radar the Daring of Tello, although I don't know what would shoot him if there was the option.
Yeah, I don't think there really is anything that could. If we look up at Charlie, it's 3v3. They've got a dominant position, and I don't think there's any way for the Nigerian Princes Need Your Help to be able to push in to take C. So they've got that on lockdown. Bravo is going to fall. Taylor is going to be able to take that center island and just kind of own it. And there's a Moskva over in PEED2 with Iceman that's on a corner that's not going to get pushed. So right now he's effectively out of the game, just as Meaty Bites is. And Alpha is contested. There is a Haragumo that will be able to smoke and start gunboating, which is exactly what's happening here as the Shimakaze starts to push forward. Two Shimas kind of looking at each other. Real question is anybody going to be able to do anything to the Nevsky at that kind of range? Certainly not their Nevsky and Lord Aeon, and Homicide is kind of taking a defensive angle, but is too far away to really land any hits on a juking ship. So maybe they push the... okay, there's shots in on General Ledger right now. General Ledger is pushing. Merc 85 is taking damage for it. They're not going to be able to push the Shima out of the cap. A is just going to be held. It's 1-1, and the points are pretty even.
Yep, the question here is, will they decide to maybe push Lord Aeon further up to the island just for the sake of getting his radar?
Haragumo Torps.
To push General Ledger out there. Yep, Haragumo sitting very broadside, going to take at least one, maybe two. Ooh, just one. Ooh, big hit though, as it is a Shimakaze. The Haragumo has just gone Super Saiyan and is now fully AR'd. As we like to put it, his DPS just went way up. So good for him. But that means he's going to have to be very safe now. Hopefully, Lord Aeon's Nevsky will move up here to get General Ledger out. Otherwise, it's looking like 2 caps to 1 for the foreseeable future.
It looks like Nevsky is just kind of sitting in the water, looking to hold pressure. But pressure is not taking the cap. Right now, General Ledger unable to be dislodged from this cap. Bowser taking that torp and Merc 85 not wanting to push Ledger and walking himself into the radar of a Nevsky and close up to the guns of the Montana. Any attempt to push this Shimakaze is doomed in failure. And we have Meaty Bites coming back trying to use the power of Broforth, brotherly love or something, to maybe hold A for some reason. But he's got no health. He can't do anything.
Yeah, it doesn't matter whether you have 3 guys in the cap or 1. If there's someone else in the cap on the other team, it's effectively denied, and that's exactly what's happening here. They need to get this Nevsky in a position where he can push the Shima out long enough for these DDs to cap it, and it's just not happening. I think maybe just a missed call there. But right now, 5 ships from PEED2 being hung up on A against 4 from PN. So the question is can PN capitalize on the C cap now that they have basically 2... they only have 1 gaining points, but they have 2 effectively in their control at the moment. Looks like the gearing of Mobius is going to make his way down to try and contest B, and he's getting pushed away by the radar of Elusive Payfast.
Okay, so the Z52 for PEEDs over in Alpha is going to be able to lock down that center entrance with that Hydro, as well as see any torps that are going to be chucked long range toward their Nevsky or Yamato. And with the gearing of Mobius moving out from the C position, looking to challenge Bravo, already baited out the radar from the Elusive Payfast, so Bravo is going to fall. There's nothing that can stop him from doing it. The question is, how long does it take the Nigerian princesses to know that Charlie is undefended, so that Marceau, Moskva, Des Moines just start going right on in there, claiming that space and wrapping in on that Moskva and seeing what kind of damage they can inflict.
Right. The Marceau can do that. I mean, he can literally back his way in there. The only thing that can stop him really is going to be that Moskva of Iceman, or possibly the radar of Guilty Spark, but I don't see that happening. Very little action going on. It is just sort of a cat and mouse game at sea as people try to catch one another. Lots and lots of gunfire being exchanged at A, though, where most of the action is, frankly, it just seems like B and C happen to be can you sneak in and take it and then run, which is exactly what happened as PEED2 retakes B.
Yeah, it looked like General Ledger over from the Nigerian princes decided the bait was too strong. Most likely that Nevsky radar caught that Z52, and he only has 900 health, and sure enough the Shima reversed all the way over there to try to sneak a shot in, which missed and lit the Shima for 20 seconds, and all that ended up in was a health trade and the Shima running away. Now Tello has rotated all the way over to A, giving them a 4-man advantage in a close proximity against 3 destroyers. If the daring Shima push, if the Nevsky comes up and gets a good solid radar on the Z, the Haragumo, and the Shima, that could be an extreme amount of damage coming out toward P2. Over on the other side of the map, B and C have flipped, and a whole bunch of nothing else has happened, although Piezoelectric is down to 7k, and the Des Moines is actively engaging Speed 3's Moskva, who is taking significant damage.
Yeah, so I gotta call it right now that A, for the most part, A is not going to be a good place for for PN. PN, I believe, is going to die on this hill here because the Shimakaze of Merc 85, who I believe might be one of the oldest players in North America competitively, down goes the Montana of Deadeye Abuser First Blood, going to PEED2 as Deadeye Abuser's Montana gets cracked with torpedoes and dies to a flood. Merc 85's Shimakaze very, very wisely positioning himself out far, so they have lots of different angles of torpedo and gunfire on as Inflamed gets just absolutely rocked. Now he's nose in to a whole bunch of ships that he cannot stop. It's going to take some careful planning, some careful maneuvering by PEED2 here, as we may see Bowser eat yet another torpedo from the Shimas and die, but I believe...
Oh!
Is he?
No, okay.
No? Oh,
Close,
wow, that was close. Okay, yeah, so I really think here that we're going to see these guys at A from PN fall. It's just living on borrowed time as PEED2 re-secures C. PN now in a very, very precarious position.
Okay, so that Montana did go down to those wonderful torps from Merc, which does actually break quite a bit of the push over at A, but they still do have the guns from the double DD, a really beat to shit Z52, a Haragumo that's backing off, and a Shimakaze that's locked in a radar trap as he's constantly getting murdered by gunfire. Oh, he's on fire, and I don't think he's able to put that out, so that feels like it's going to be donezo. However, the Moskva over in the north does get overwhelmed by that Des Moines, and is going to be pushing PN away. So PN having lost 2 ships in a fairly short span of time, but they did get a trade, and those TD2 destroyers are low if they could make it happen. Nevsky did take a big hit from the Homicides Yamato. I think they're just going to be trapped in Alpha and probably run down by this Nevsky of Lord Aeon. This is looking pretty tough.
Yep, lots and lots of gunfire being traded back. Meaty Bite's doing the absolute best thing he possibly can with his 900 HP, which is block a cap and provide a hydro threat there, because I believe General Ledger is within hydro range of that. There it goes. We'll see. It looks like it's just outside. Well, maybe, I don't know. But I'm going to say this is very much PEED2's game to lose now. They did a really good job of taking the flanks, and that just sort of outpositioned PN, which is actually the same thing we saw happen in PN's game versus the second GGWP team. Good luck, have fun. They just sort of didn't really take the flanks as well as they could have, where they let here a Shimakaze go out to the one line, dump torpedoes on, which ended up in Deadeye Abuser's Montana being killed. And now we're watching PEED2's ships go around the north side of A10 basically and wrap them up, so they're just sort of getting folded together.
Yeah, I think their pushing potential is just piece by piece by piece. It's getting gutted over at A, and we see actually Nigerian princesses need your help, Lou, pushing over into Bravo as the Marceau takes the B and is speeding along probably at full effing speed to come over here and maybe wrap on that Z52 in an attempt to get some kind of something happening over here. If this Nevsky comes down somehow, 20,000 health, if there's any possibility of taking Lord Aeon off the field, they could just YOLO shove Z52 in the Haragumo, and then it's a Yamato with what, 2 destroyers, 3 destroyers? There's nothing there that might actually give them points on the board and the ability to wrap. The question is, how do they get the Z52 out of the way? How do they get the Nevsky dead? C is gone. They got to make plays.
I think it's going to have to be the daring, to be honest. The daring is the only thing blocking the cap at A right now, which is why I understand why he's not actually moving out. Instead, he's getting chip damage on the Nevsky. The Marceau's got to come in here and wipe that Z52 out, which then puts a lot of pressure on that Nevsky to either put up or shut up, which looks like the Nevsky going down. Lord Aeon getting out-traded pretty distinctly here. He's going down. That's one less ship in A for PN to have to worry about. And the Marceau, yes, in fact, dropping torps on where he thinks the Z52 is going to be, but he's going to have to go right in, or maybe send the daring around. Once the Shimakaze of General Ledger can hop back into A, that frees up the Daring, who's he's changing directions.
If that Daring has his Hydro up, then the Z52 is in Hydro range. The Marceau could just take easy shots from downtown, and we are already seeing shots connecting on a Z52 that cannot back up because of those torps. Marceau opens up, incoming shells. I think Meaty Bites is going to be the last bite. The last piece of the cake just got taken from the fridge, and somebody's going to be pissed off about that. It's now two caps over to the Nigerian Princesses, who are only down by about 70 points. There is a Haruguma with only 7,000 health. I don't know if they know that, however. Piezoelectric and Bravo lit for all to see is going to accept action against a Gearing with a lot more health than he has, but it is a Marceau. That is a scary beast.
It is a scary beast. He's fully damage saturated by this point, but looks like he's taking an enormous amount of damage from that Gearing. He's not going to be able to stick around for too long. The Gearing now taking shots from the Des Moines across Hero from PN, as Marceau with his dying breath throwing torpedoes out towards the Yamato of Homicide from P2. Things very spicy at this moment. Down goes the Marceau. That is very, very big, but PN now secured A. This is interesting. They'll never get C back, excuse me. They'll never get C back, but A is now decisively theirs, which means they can start to push their own Shimakaze up to pressure this Yamato, who's basically, for all intents and purposes, by himself. The question is, what happens at B? And there's a lot going on here. The Gearing in B is actually the one securing it, but he's been radared. He's being shot by Elusive, Payfast, and Cross Hero.
I think they got a reset there, and boy, they need them. They've got a Daring coming up that's actually taking shots now, going for resets. Again, I don't know if they're connecting. They're so close, though. Those connected. That's going to be some resets. Daring is moving over to contest Bravo. If that's not going to go anywhere, that does give 150-point difference over to P2. Holy shit, Daring torps on Yam. That's going to be 1. That's going to be 2. That's 3. Hell, that might even be 4. Oh, but it runs out the...
Oh, no! So close. Wow.
Absolutely. So the Daring has got to contest B to keep the points in shouting distance. As trades continue, Moskva of Iceman slides around, gets a nasty hit into Croshiro's Des Moines as everybody starts to back up, and the play has to be made from Tello.
Absolutely. This is it's worth pointing out there's 3 minutes, 30 seconds left on the game clock. Neither team can win on neither team can actually finish out the points at this point. It's going to come down to whomever has the most points at the end of the timer, very likely, which at the moment, it's honestly 197k to 177k in terms of HP. The ship losses are the same. Daring of Tello now under huge amounts of fire from 3 vessels. He's going to go down here. Will he get the trade-off with the Gearing of Mobius? Oh, he just doesn't. Gearing of Mobius. P2 just barely lives, as now Iceman from P2 also under a lot of concentrated fire. Who's going to survive this?
Well, I feel like that just locked it up, because how in the hell do they deal with the Gearing now? I just don't see it as possible. If the Moskva backs up, he gets clapped by Homicide. Right now, Shell's out on the Des Moines, although I think he slammed on the brakes. Those probably fly by. Looks like Iceman will go down. That's going to be a needed point trade, maybe. He's going to go to 850 health. It's going to happen.
So close.
The question is, what do they do with Bravo after? And there's a Shima that is rough charging toward B. Can the Shima get the kill on the Gearing? They don't have a Moskva.
Down goes Croshiro.
Oh, well, I think that one's just going to seal it. 48 seconds left. There's no way in hell they're going to see the Gearing to get the point kill. And outside of kills, there's no way that there's enough points for P2 not to take this. Shots come into the Moskva. They overpen. Sucks to be a Yamato.
I don't know how they get the Gearing at this point with 30 seconds left. P2 looks to have this in the bag now. The only way I see this happening is if somehow the Shimakaze can step on B. That'll take it to about 40 seconds, maybe a little bit less of time left. But I don't see them having a way to get enough points off the board to keep this in their grasp. Only 27 seconds remaining until P2 takes this away. The only way really is that's GG. Congratulations, gentlemen. A very exciting game. Back and forth between P2 and the second game of PN, but that will wrap it up as a win for P2. Congratulations, Epstein didn't torp himself is the name of that. Oh, man. Very exciting. Well played to both teams. That was a great game to watch. Lots of back and forth, lots of spicy moments. Yeah, great game.
Yeah, absolutely. The showdown at A was unexpected and lasted forever. Taking that Torp and the Haragumo probably changed so much about that matchup, because suddenly the Haragumo had to play a lot safer than he wanted to play. Pushing that Haragumo back, the nasty trade on that Z early, and still able to use the Z for pretty much almost the entirety of the match, blowing that huge 6-kilometer hydro over and over and over again to spot torps, to give information, to cock block destroyers from pushing. That was extremely useful. Haragumo had to fade back, and Merc just got nailed. He got murked. It's really unfortunate. He got some great Shimitorps off. I think he resulted in that Montana going down, but without the close support, because the Nevsky and Yamato were just so far out, they pushed him. They took A. And when they went for that center charge, it was so close. If that gearing had gone down, that would have been a point trade that maybe they could have taken B, and that could have been completely different. But it didn't happen, and maybes don't cut it.
Yeah, this map itself, or this match, may be worthwhile studying for. Well, actually, I don't know if this map is in rotation as the weekends progress. That Nevsky from PEED2, he was just out of range of radaring the entirety of the cap, which allowed, I forget which DD it was, but it allowed the PN DD to essentially sit in A for as long as he wanted. Props to Merc85 specifically for making that call, heading down to the flank and just dumping Shimikaze torpedoes towards that ball of PN ships. And then also props to meaty bites. Meaty bites. Props to meaty bites. Way to live after just absolutely getting curb stomped at the beginning there, living with 900 health after an early Marceau rush, followed up by radar. Well, put him in a very precarious position. That was a plan from the very beginning. Like, hey, we know something's going to go in there. Find it and wreck it. That was the goal. And
they got him down to like 900 health. Just 3 more shell hits, maybe 3-4 more shell hits. He goes down. That's extremely close, and yet they lost a cap, and they gave away so much pressure with that Z52 not being dead, locking down entire sections of the map for at least 10 to 15 minutes. Yep.
It's just that's how it went. And man, really, there was a moment there where PN, I think, could have come away with it. They took A at a certain point after, I don't know if they removed Merc. I think they removed Merc's Shimikaze. They just couldn't quite follow it up because they never really got a hold on the northern side. C just managed to fold them up, and I don't think they ever really recovered from that, because then they weren't really able to contest B, and that's of course where the they just didn't quite get that trade with the gearing. If they had killed that gearing at B behind the island, which again, 300 HP, that was fully down to RNG of the shells from the daring. It could have been it, but this one ended up going to PEED2, so congratulations to both teams.
Yeah, when that Marceau came down and swung over toward A, then suddenly they had a way to kill the Z, suddenly they had a way to wrap on stuff, and really the Marceau getting surprise MF'd over in Bravo by that, there's a DD there, and he has, this is rough. He dropped his torps, he took the gunfire like a man, and he chiseled about 6k off the gearing, but it's just too much to ask for a Marceau with like 3,000 health.
Yeah, just can't do it.
But it was a fun time. Fun games all around. I think this continues the following weekend, this coming Saturday?
The first and the second are the next days for COTS 12. It will be it'll be group stage 1 and group stage 2, I believe. Let me take a look at the tournament board. Yeah, first group stage is on Saturday, May 1st. Second, it's gonna be May. Second group stage is Sunday, followed by regional playoffs and then regional finals the following weekend. So 2 more weekends of this, guys. Saturday and Sunday are going to be spicy because it's going to be multiple matches between each group. I think it's best of 5 for those, if I'm not mistaken. Is it right? Best of 3? I don't remember.
I know there's an option for best of 3 and best of 5 in the little stream helper thing, so
It's
I know
gotta
they
be best
gotta
of-
exist somewhere.
It's got to be best of 3 because with like what is it like? It gets down to like 64 teams or something like that. It gets down to like 64 teams. I think if there were 5 matches, we'd never get through them all. So, yeah, I'm
that
gonna
might
say
be some maximum oof.
Omega oof. It's true. All right. Well, yeah. Is there anything? I'm gonna head out and probably take a nap or something like that soon. But is there anything you wanted to discuss about the tournament thus far?
I would just like to apologize to those caught unaware for my use of Nigerian princesses and the Princess Nigerian and all that other stuff, because there were some people in my chat that were fairly confused. What the hell is he talking about? I was just riffing on the name PN because, frankly, Nigerian Princes Need Your Help was too damn long, and NPNYH was not really going to work in terms of ways of referencing, so it just was what it was, friends. But good times, man. See you next week.
Okay, sounds good. Folks watching my stream, stick around here. I'm gonna chat for a little bit before I go. So see you later, Oscots.